Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde. I am joined alongside my co-host, Tony Sapita. London cannot make it today because London was too ecstatic last night from what we're about to bring you. The Chicago Bears traded up in the 2021 NFL Draft from pick 20 to 11 with the New York Giants and selected quarterback Justin Fields out of Ohio State. Tony and I were together. We're chugging beers. We're going crazy. It was an absolute, this is the moment Bears fans have been waiting for. Bears Twitter, this is the guy that they wanted. The second Trey Lance was taken at pick 3, Tony and I looked at each other. We go, it's going to happen. We're going to get Justin Fields. There's no doubt about it. And could the Bears have not traded up? Potentially, but it was a gamble they weren't willing to take. So Justin Fields is the franchise quarterback that the Bears have been looking for. Tony, I know you're excited. I'm super excited. There's even better news in the NFC North that we received 5 minutes before the podcast started in regards to Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. But let's start with Justin Fields, 6'3", 228-pound quarterback out of Ohio State. Tony, what are you feeling?
Well, excited. Obviously, like you just said, that was one of those, like, you just could feel the franchise just going in a different direction, a better direction. They showed the war room, after the pick. Ryan Pace, everyone is like, we got our guy. They're high-fiving, they're hugging. This is, I know we've kind of been tough on Ryan Pace, Matt Nagy, kind of just what their strategy has been the past couple of years. But this is exactly what they were brought in to do. They were brought in to go get their guy and make it work. Obviously, they tried in 2017, but it wasn't Matt Nagy's guy. It was kind of weird. This is their guy. I couldn't be more excited. I got a couple stats we can go into as we go along, but that's kind of just my opening take on it. Just happy to be a Bears fan. Feels weird to say, but happy to be a Bears fan.
Yeah, I mean, like, absolutely. It is crazy to think the fact that this was the biggest draft in Bears history, in recent history, let's say. You go out and get a young guy, versatile guy who can run, pass, think, super smart. The second Matt Nagy was at his second pro day, that means that Matt Nagy saw film from the first pro day and was like, I have to go see this in person myself. And he shows up in a baggy Nike sweatshirt, Lululemon pants, just chilling, dad bodding out. And he's like, this is it. So Bears take him. He was a junior. He played 1 year at Georgia his freshman year and then transferred out of the SEC to join the Big Ten and be Ohio State's quarterback. In his sophomore year, he had 41 touchdowns and 3 interceptions with a 181 passer rating. That's just absurd. That is just stupid. Especially, I get it, college numbers, whatever. But this is the guy that the Bears needed Mitch Trubisky to be. This is a guy that, kind of feels like a Patrick Mahomes, kind of feels like a Deshaun Watson. He's got the competitive edge to him. He's got the fire under him. And he said that I'm going to prove a lot of people wrong. And, when we were kind of talking about this, I wanted Zach Wilson all the way up to the second Zach Wilson was drafted. He just doesn't look like the guy that it would have been cool to say we had another punky QB from BYU with a crazy defense. Could we win another Super Bowl? Whatever. But we got a guy from Ohio State that is unbelievable. So just in regards to what we gave up to get Justin Fields, we gave up this year's number 20 that went back to New York. We also gave up this year's 5th round pick. So we still have rounds 2, 3, 4. If I'm correct, yes, we have 2, 3, and 4 still. And we have all those 6th round picks that I think Ryan Pace is going to trade them all and move back up into the 5th. I wouldn't be shocked with that. But also we gave up next year's 1st and next year's 4th. That's where I'm kind of like, I think we gave up a little too much, considering the fact that the Philadelphia Eagles 2 picks before only had to trade a 1st and a 3rd to move up a little bit with Dallas. So, was it a bad trade? No, because you got your franchise guy. Did we give up too much? Depends on how you look at it. I think we did. London doesn't think we did. Bears Twitter is completely divided. Tony, do you think we gave up too much for him?
I think you could say, at least right now, because we haven't seen Justin Fields play yet, you could say maybe we did right now. I am curious to see as the draft kind of goes along, were the Patriots trying to move up? Were we in a bidding war? Because obviously they ended up taking Mac Jones, but did they want Justin Fields? We just don't know that yet. No one wants to give away their secrets. I'm sure we'll find that out eventually. I mentioned it to you, before we started. With Mitch Trubisky, we know exactly what we gave up because obviously we're like, I can't believe we lost all that for that. And but with Patrick Mahomes, Chiefs traded up from what I say was from 27 from 28 to pick 10, one ahead of what we ended up trading up to. And I had to look up what they gave up. They ended up giving up, I think, a first, basically kind of similar to the Bears. It was a third from I think that same year, and then a first for the next year. But no one's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they didn't keep that first round pick from the next year. Everyone's like, wow, they got Patrick Mahomes, and that's what I'm hoping Justin Fields can be. Obviously, not necessarily Patrick Mahomes. I hope he can be, but that guy where it doesn't matter that we gave up a fifth round pick, next year. That kind of return for it. So I like it. I'm all in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree completely with what you're saying. I think that, so in regards to the type of player that Justin Fields is, Justin Fields can use his legs. Mitch could use his legs too. That's what Mitch was better at than actually being a quarterback at the end of the day. Um, but also, he has a crazy arm. And I know that I have been Kellen Mund this entire offseason. But if you get a guy like Justin Fields for what we gave up, instead of going after Atlanta's fourth pick, we get him at 11, 7 picks later, but give up way less of the farm. So there's still hope for next year. We still have next year's second round pick. Next year's draft class does not look nearly as stacked with quarterbacks. So now the Bears can go and focus on getting that big offensive tackle that they're looking for, that big corner that they're looking for. This is also a super, super, super deep wide receiver draft. And I think that's what the Bears are going to end up doing in the third round. The Bears' focus right now, in my opinion, and this is kind of what London, Tony, and I have been talking about, is the fact that they should be just focused on offense, defense, offense. Just get the corner that you need for the future to fill in, even though we have plenty of corners, plenty of big, smart corners. So the Bears defense did not get drastically worse after losing Kyle Fuller because next man up. But the offense needs more weapons around Justin Fields. And right now, Andy Dalton still is the starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears, which is okay, because I am thinking that what the Bears are going to do today is that they're going to send some picks and Nick Foles to move up into the draft, back into the fourth round, or back into the fifth round, or whatever. I don't care. Get rid of the contract, save cap, do whatever. But Andy Dalton can be that mentor for Justin Fields. But Andy Dalton's not going to go out there and be like, he is a proven Pro Bowl quarterback that has gone to the playoffs before. He is going to play his heart out. And unless Andy Dalton really screws up, Justin Fields probably won't see playing time till the end of the season, if not at all this year. But it's nice to know, kind of like it kind of feels like an Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes situation again in Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes came in, sat behind Smith for a year. Smith played his heart out, and then the Chiefs moved on from him. The Bears signed Dalton to a 1-year contract. They can easily move on from him, pick up a veteran quarterback for cheaper next year to be behind Fields, and Fields will be the starting quarterback in 2022, 2023. So, a lot going on there, but we'll see. It's just super exciting to know that the franchise quarterback of the future is on the roster as we speak. And that's something that Bears fans, when we drafted Mitch Trubisky, everyone was like kind of scratching the head a little bit, all right, this guy was ranked good, right? No, we went out and got a guy who's proven in a hard college conference, and Bears fans should be ecstatic about Justin Fields.
Couldn't agree more. You got to remember too, the Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes comparison you made. It was the offensive coordinator going into that. That was Matt Nagy. He's done this before. Obviously, he tried it with Mitch, kind of brought it, they had Chase Daniel. They tried to recreate it, but I mean, it was,
they did
I
it
heard
backwards.
something. Yeah. I heard something on what was it, 670 or something. They made a good point where, Matt Nagy didn't draft Mitch. Yes, he said he liked him. He liked, the year before or whatever, but it still wasn't his guy. We still had John Fox for a year teaching him, whatever you want to call that. And I think that really, whatever, that hurt his development. He didn't get to work with the same offense the whole time. Now Justin Fields comes in, gets to work with the same, hopefully same coach, throughout his career. And a great tweet I saw right before we got on. So apparently Matt Nagy kind of went over some plays with Justin Fields in their interview, just kind of some basic stuff. Just here's what you would be doing, if we draft you. They draft him, obviously. Matt Nagy, the first thing he does when he talks to him, he goes, do you remember whatever it was, like this formation, this play, what do you do? Knew it perfectly, apparently. So that's a guy that not only cares, he wants to be here. I could not be more excited for the future of this Bears team.
he has walked into Chicago with complete open arms. Like everyone in the city, no one is upset in the city about getting Justin Fields. No one, like Mitch Trubisky, people are like, Ryan Pace, what are you doing? All this other stuff. Just this feels right. And if it doesn't work out, they did the right thing. They did their homework. They didn't give up the farm. They got a guy who could be like Russell Wilson, a guy who could be like Deshaun Watson and Justin Fields. It's going to take a little while to develop him. I'm excited for Andy Dalton still to be the Bears starting quarterback this year. I know that's a take, but you know what? So we've talked about this last night, and my cousin Frank was with us, and he agreed. He's like, Andy Dalton is going to be the starting quarterback unless he messes up, and he isn't a bad quarterback. Go out and get the beefy line. Let Justin Fields watch a little bit. Do a couple wildcat plays with Justin Fields. Technically, it's not a wildcat, but like throw Andy Dalton out at wide receiver and just do something crazy. Just the Bears have another weapon they have on offense now, and it's very exciting to be a Bears fan. And also, going into that, Aaron Rodgers has officially told teammates he is not returning to the Green Bay Packers as of this morning. So the NFC North has just completely gone like this. Like all of a sudden, the Bears are going to be potentially the best team in the NFC North. The Lions are all over the place. The Lions are like, okay, we had the 7th pick, and we're still kind of like where we are in Detroit. And Minnesota took another lineman because they can't keep their lineman happy, so they're going to underpay this guy. And in 4 years, Christian Darsaw, who I was talked very highly of, is going all over the place. The Bears in the NFC North had the best pick out of any of the teams. And Aaron Rodgers now saying that he wants to come out of Green Bay. It is the best time in the world to be a Bears fan. Tony, take it away, because I know how happy you are about this. You're saying this is the greatest time to be a Bears fan since '85. So, I couldn't agree more, but we weren't even around. We were in outer space somewhere. So, take it away, Tony. How you feeling about Aaron Rodgers leaving?
Yeah, couldn't be happier. Like you said, he told his teammates he's not coming back. I guess that's the report that's coming out. So, I may have mentioned it might be a smoke screen yesterday. I was clearly wrong, because even if it was, it didn't work. We still got our guy. We now have the best quarterback in the NFC North, because Kirk Cousins is he's Kirk Cousins. We all know what he is. I do like Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff's a good person. I think he's a good guy. I don't think he's going to be the Aaron Rodgers for the Lions. They drafted a tackle. They were obviously super excited to get it, but that wasn't a win now. This is our window. We're building for the future. So there's still nothing to be worried about for with the Lions as a Bears fan. The Vikings, they're always like the big matchup we have every year. And I'm just not worried about Kirk Cousins. We got our quarterback. We got the best quarterback, and then Aaron Rodgers leaving is legitimately. So how we have banners, of course, teams put up banners for championships in their stadium. We should put up, what is it, yesterday's date, tomorrow's date, whatever day he officially leaves. That should be a banner in Soldier Field. Aaron Rodgers left the Packers 2021.
And the thing is that if he goes to the Broncos, if he goes to the Raiders, if he goes to the Niners, out of everyone, I would love it if he went to the Raiders, because the Raiders are not in win now mode. And, if he goes to Oakland, that means Derek Carr comes to the NFC North, and Derek Carr is not a bad quarterback. So that kind of like brings that into play. I still would like him just out of the NFC and deal with him in the Super Bowl later on. That's just kind of where I stand with it. And here's the thing, Tony. And I want you to hit on where you think where you would want Aaron Rodgers to go. But what if this happened? What if the Bears and Packers took Justin Fields, because the Bears were like, hey, we're obviously more desperate for a quarterback. You have a quarterback. And the Bears trade Fields and a couple of first rounders, whatever, and bring Rodgers to Chicago, because Jordan Love is not Justin Fields. He is not. Let's just make that clear. Jordan Love was just a horrible mistake by the Packers as of right now. But, you're throwing out the word smokescreen yesterday. Could the Bears be trying to go and get Rodgers? Because, but who knows? He didn't even say he wanted to come to Chicago. He said he wanted to go out west. Don't blame him. I would like to be out there as well. But, thoughts on where you want Rodgers to go? Thoughts if this is a potential Bears smokescreen?
I mean, anything is possible, of course. I don't think it is just because, well, actually, I'll just say I don't want it to happen because, I get that it would be great to have an Aaron Rodgers type quarterback on the Bears. However, the Packers are dying right now. They're basically dying. They need anything. They're like, please, please save us. To just anyone, like, we'll trade him away. We just want something back in return, or we want him to obviously come back. At this point, I would rather go with Justin Fields, step on the throat of the Packers. Don't give them that easy out. Don't build them back up. Don't give them, that new, fresh, young quarterback for an aging quarterback who, again, he's still good, but at the same time, he's making a ton of money. Who knows how many years he has left? He wants to go be the host of Jeopardy. He's got his new fiance, his new wife. I don't think they're married yet. She probably doesn't want to live in the Midwest. I think she's from Colorado or California, so she wants to be out there. So then I actually would like him to go to Vegas. I think you had said Oakland. Go to Vegas with the Raiders. If I'm not mistaken, I think that 17th game that they added, I don't know. For some reason I thought that it's officially the Raiders that the Bears play, and it's out in Las Vegas. So that would be insane if the first year he goes out to Las Vegas, we're playing him 17th game of the season. Maybe season's on the line. Maybe we got to make the playoffs. We got to deal with that all over again. And the other thing that would suck is Bears finally make it to the Super Bowl. We're so excited. Who's staring us? Who's staring down the gun on the other side? It's Aaron Rodgers. What a heartbreaking situation that would be. But Vegas would be fun. I think that would be cool. Good. I want Vegas to be good. That'd be so fun. A great team in the Sin City. So I think that would be cool. Plus, if he wins the Super Bowl there before the Packers win another one, talk about a dream come true.
Listen, I think my second favorite team is the Raiders, and I still call the Willis Tower the Sears Tower. So I'm going to call the Raiders the Oakland Raiders. It still hasn't hit me yet. They're in Vegas because obviously no one's seen them in Vegas. And you drive by the Death Star and it's just there. But mark it on our calendars now. Aaron Rodgers goes to the Raiders, and the Bears play in Vegas in the 17th week. Tony London and I are flying out. We are going to that game just to watch our hearts get absolutely torn out of our chest and lose a bunch of money at the tables because it's Vegas. We're going for 48 hours and getting the heck out of there when Aaron Rodgers either completely torches the Bears or, does what Aaron Rodgers does. Who knows? But he could be a completely different quarterback on that team. But the Raiders are also kind of built like the Packers in a weird way. They have a really good tight end. They have big offensive linemen that can protect a quarterback. They have speedy wide receivers, and a good quarterback makes receivers great. Kind of scary to think about, but last comments in regards to everything that's going on. We're super happy about Justin Fields coming to Chicago. We're super happy that Aaron Rodgers wants out of Green Bay. We wish Aaron Rodgers nothing but the best of luck in his future career, wherever he ends up, as long as he doesn't stay in Green Bay. And as long as he gets the heck out of the NFC North, the Vikings are going to be like, you want Kirk? The Lions, you want Jared? But my favorite tweet, just to end last comments before Tony's last comments, is someone tweeted, so you could say that the Green Bay Packers are ... in ... Jeopardy. I will take leaving the franchise for $800. Tony, what's your final comments on the whole situation?
Great tweet. So 2 final comments. I don't think he's going to stay in the NFC North. I don't think there's really any way that could happen. I think we might have talked about it when they traded Brett Favre to the Jets back in the day. They threw a stipulation in that if he was then traded directly to the Minnesota Vikings, the Jets would have to give the Packers 3 first-round picks. And so I think they're going to – I didn't know that was the thing, but I guess it is. So I think they're going to do anything they can to keep him out of there. And then my second point was, just a quick Justin Fields thing. The big thing with Mitch was that he couldn't throw downfield. We didn't, or he wasn't good at it, whether that was Nagy's fault, his fault. He was the second most accurate quarterback throwing downfield. I think it was behind Zach Wilson, 70% of 20-plus yards or more. And, I mean, with Darnell Mooney, with all these guys, that's what we need. And he runs a 4.4. Like, that's, again, to reiterate, I could not be more excited. It's going to be a good year to be a Bears fan.
It's going to be a good year, whether Dalton or Fields is the starting quarterback. There is hope for the future. We can't be more excited about it. But with that, thank you for joining us for another episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Brody, joined alongside Tony Sapita. And please send your thoughts to London, who decided to drink 3/4 of a handle of whiskey last night because he was so flippin' excited. But with that, that's the conclusion of our episode. Tune in Monday as we'll have more on the Chicago Bears and a complete recap of the entire draft, as rounds 2 through 4 is tonight, and then the final rounds are on Saturday. So with that, thank you very much for joining Just Another Year Chicago, and have a great weekend, Chicago.